when Nebraska ranchers came to me and said, give us your experience, what are we facing down here? I need to at least tell them what my experiences are, to give them a fair opportunity to prepare what was coming towards them.
It's all about politics. All they're trying to do is get Obama out of office. It's not about the issues here, it's about who's in control of the White House. And it is so wrong.
This is what happened in Russia and Germany before Stalin and Hitler took power.
We will continue to fight it. We'll try to fight it in the courts. We'll fight it with our bodies.
Will it get physical? It might get physical. It might get pretty ugly.
Don't you think we should be getting ready to start the lawsuit so now on 1161?
No, yeah, we are. Jordy's looking at it right now. You know, there's something special about the Sandhills, and once you do kind of cross over and kind of drive over the hill and start to see really the majestic hills, you know you're in a special place. And I think that's why you've seen Nebraskans fiercely defend this land. So the Sandhills is literally sand, and so whenever it snows or rains, that water literally gets filtered by the sand and replenishes the Ogallala aquifer. It's why we are able to produce as much crops as we do, and why ag is such an important part of our economy, and why landowners are fiercely saying that we can't have a pipeline mess with this.
It's pure, clean. It's probably the cleanest water in the U.S. right there, and you can drink right out of that spigot. They're up and down this valley here. There's numerous flowing wells, just numerous. We need all of these resources, and we have to use them with common sense. You know, and this is part of it. You don't take a toxic pipeline, stick through a vulnerable part of a state or your country, and expect to sustain life. We as people, you know, we can live without oil, but we can't live without this water. You know, we all have to drink. Well, if TransCanada wants to put a pipeline through this poor soil, that is a big threat to this water. If they just move 20 miles or so, we have not accomplished anything.
Back up. It's gonna be right here. That's right?
Yeah, they're not changing the entry point. Well,
So there's 4.
they still have to cross you and you're not signing, so.
That's right. Yeah.
We saw, you know, what they're proposing. But it's really unfortunate because all of their proposals still cross the Sandhills. I mean, literally, this land that I'm sitting on is the area that the pipeline would still be crossing, and it's just unacceptable. And for me, it just shows how TransCanada completely disrespects our landowners, disrespects the promises that they continue to make to us, and why they can't be trusted.
It kind of really disgusts me that this is, you know, fought this for 4 years basically to keep it off the property. The property that is eventually going to go to, I hope, my sons and daughters, or grandsons and granddaughters. After I get tired and turn it over to them, whatever, here now, I've got a real good possibility that they're going to have to be fighting the spill when it happens.
You know, we're going to disturb the land a little bit, which is true, but I see it more as national security. You know, Iran is a wild card. A bunch of these Middle East countries are a wild card. The more oil that we can produce and deliver to our refineries, the safer we're going to be. Safer my job's going to be. I travel a lot. I mean, you're talking 30 to 40,000 miles a year, and I have to buy $4 gas when it was $1.79 3 years ago. It hurts. It's all back to national security. I think it needs to be here. I mean, I drew the short straw. Happened to come across my property. So, from that sense, why would I want to push it on my neighbor? You know, we need it. I'd like to see it go through.
Well, it kind of wants to make me laugh because the people who are saying that probably have not done any research to actually see, you know, if there's a benefit as far as the price of fuel or gas or whatever stuff. They don't understand that this is actually going to be an export pipeline. Same way with the chunk down there that Mr. Obama has already agreed to have done out of Cushing, Oklahoma, Port Arthur, Texas. You know, if you do your little bit of research instead of just taking what that paper says, you're going to find out that that pipeline is nothing more than going to remove the extra glut of crude oil down there in Cushing to the Gulf of Mexico, so it can be sold worldwide, an international market. It can be shipped all over the world.
I mean, the Republican Party has essentially twisted this issue and is lying to the American people by saying that this pipeline is going to help get us off foreign oil, it's going to help us with energy security, and is not going to cost a dime of taxpayer dollars. None of that is true. You know, not a lick of this oil is dedicated to the United States. For me, the most troubling aspect of the political aspect of all of this is that Republicans claim to be the party that protects landowner rights. And landowners are fighting for their land right now and asking elected officials to step in and help them. And not one Republican is standing up for them, not one.
Oh yeah, it very much makes me angry that we have Democrats and Republicans here bickering over something of this magnitude. This here, you cannot put a dollar figure on it. And they're trying to, you know, just put it in. I believe that tar sands oil needs this pipeline. I believe TransCanada needs this pipeline. I believe the Canadian economy needs this pipeline. And I believe there's some U.S. politicians that need this pipeline. But the American people, I believe, really do not need this pipeline. It's all about politics. All they're trying to do is get Obama out of office. It's not about the issues here. It's about who's in control of the White House. And it is so wrong. It is so wrong. I
mean, it is crystal clear to me the only reason that TransCanada pushed this legislation through Nebraska and wants the route analyzed before they even apply for a federal permit is because they want a talking point for this election cycle. They want to be able to say, look, everybody, even Nebraska, the one state that opposed this pipeline with such fury, even Nebraska approves of the pipeline now. The only one that doesn't is President Obama. He's the only one who's kind of holding up jobs and, you know, energy security. That is why they have pushed this so hard in Nebraska this past month. It's all about the presidential cycle and close Senate campaigns. If any American tries to pretend that TransCanada, which is a foreign corporation, doesn't impact and influence our elected officials, they are definitely putting their head in the sand, because that is just not reality.
When they come through the first pipeline on my property and what I rent, I didn't have nothing bad happen. So I mean, that's probably why I'm fine with the second one, you know, coming through. If I hadn't dealt with it before, you know, I'd probably be a little more cautious and, you know, don't know if it's an okay deal. But I think in my area, you know, where our groundwater's so deep that, you know, I think, you know, a lot of our wells around this area are, you know, 160 to 300 foot deep. And, you know, I realized, you know, out western Nebraska where they was going to come through there, you know, I realized that, you know, their water's real shallow. And you know, I see what their concern is out there too. So but hopefully if they move it around there, it'll be okay.
It's the property rights issue that just really gets my spirits moving here. To build your dream house for your family, and every morning you wake up and when you draw that cup of water, you don't know whether it's been contaminated or not. You have no idea, and you live with that risk every day. This is your dream home. This is where you hope to retire and maybe have your grandchildren live. I think that's a very heavy burden to put on a property owner. I'm quite amazed that they have had the success, because we never even got close to this kind of success. Our voice was a mere whisper. At least they made some talking points. They've made an election issue. And that's quite remarkable. Is that where this discussion should end? I don't think so.
You will see people protecting their land at all costs. And, you know, we made the State Department very aware of that fact when the hearings, when they were refusing to hold an additional hearing out in the Sandhills. We were trying to explain how kind of emotionally tied people are to this land and how they feel like their voices aren't being heard. It was then, is now, always will be a beautiful and special place for me, and something that I will defend with literally every ounce in my body. They messed with the wrong Nebraskan. They messed with the wrong set of landowners.
I don't know so much about sabotage because there's a lot of stuff that's going to happen prior to one shovel of dirt being done, because we're going to have people come down through here and survey. I mean, there's going to probably be confrontations there, whatever, because, you know, I still own the property, whatever, and you come in and trespass on me or whatever, say, no, you get. I'm only going to tell you once. Next time, you know, we're going to do something else. And we're not going to have the county sheriff down here to protect you or the state patrol or whatever stuff. Will it get physical? It might get physical. It might, in fact, get pretty ugly. So, but, you know, most people, you should have the right to say no, and people leave you alone. You know, don't be pushing me around.